Hi, let us now look at metrics for some of the traditional business models. Let's look at the manufacturer model to start with. In a manufacturer model, a company produces goods often on a large scale. All of us are familiar with it. Let's look at what are the key metrics for this kind of a business. One, production volume, the total quantity of products that a manufacturing unit produces over a specific period. Higher production volume can indicate better operational efficiency and higher market demand. Another metrics could be cost of goods sold. This is the cost incurred in producing the goods sold by a company. A lower cost of goods sold can result in higher gross margin, assuming that the sale price remains constant, or a lower cost of goods sold can be used by the company to reduce the prices to garner more market share. So, cost of goods sold is another metric. There could also be operational efficiency metrics to do with internal operations. Metrics such as production downtime. How much downtime was there? How much was the factory shut or the assembly line shut during the month? Shows the efficiency of the production operations. Machine utilization rate. Because the machines are expensive, capital equipment assets, how much they are utilized will have a direct bearing on the profitability of the company. If the machine is lying unutilized, that is wasted investment. Other one could be the ratio of good units produced to total units started. That is called the yield ratio. How many good units came out of this? Scrap rates. So, higher operational efficiency often leads to lower cost of goods sold, higher profitability. Okay, right? Next metric could be profitability. What is the gross profit margin? Gross profit margin is nothing but the revenue minus the cost of goods sold. So, net profit margin is what is the net profit after you take into account all the overheads and costs. Return on investment is another metric which measures the profitability. For every rupee that you invested, what is the return the business is getting. These provides insights into company's ability to generate profit from manufacturing activity. So, let's take next business model, which is the distributor business model, where a company purchases goods from the manufacturers and sells them to the retailers or customers. So, this is not a manufacturing, it's a pure distributor business model. What are the metrics here? One is a inventory turnover rate. This measures how often the company sells and replaces its inventory over a specific period of time. High turnover rates can indicate strong sales or effective inventory management. So, the number of times you are able to turn over inventory is an indicator of a distributor business model. Gross margin, return on inventory investments. This metrics calculates the gross return a business makes for each dollar invested in the inventory. Higher gross margin return on inventory investments indicate a more effective inventory investment and better management. Order accuracy rate. It measures the percentage of orders that are delivered without errors. Higher accuracy rate leads to higher customer satisfaction and lower costs associated with returns or corrective action. So, order accuracy rate is an important metric for a distributor business model. Now, let us look at the next model, retail model. In the retail model, companies sell goods directly to consumers. So, metrics for a typical retail model would be sales per square foot. This is a common retail metric that measures the average revenue a retail business generates for every square foot of sales space. Higher value generally indicates better utilization of retail space. Typically, retail models, retail stores are in high street or expensive neighborhood. The rental cost is very high. Hence, the retail metric that measures average revenue per square foot is very important metric. Second metric could be the foot traffic or footfalls, the number of people actually entering a store or a shopping area. Higher the footfalls or higher the foot traffic, more is the potential for sales because a larger percentage will convert. So, by locating your retail store in a mall or near the airport or in high traffic areas, you can increase the footfalls. So if there is some reason why the footfalls are falling down, it's a cause for concern and for the company to take action. Third metric is the average transaction value, the average amount a customer spends per transaction. Higher the average transaction values, the better it is for the company. And how do you achieve that? By successfully upselling and cross-selling. Have more basket of goods. Make the person or the customer who has walked into your store buy more items, buy complementary goods, buy more selection, buy more variety. All of these are methods by which you increase the average transaction value of the customer. Next metric is a conversion rate, the percentage of visitors to a store who make a purchase. That percentage is called the conversion rate. While getting footfalls or traffic is important, it's more important to ensure that a large percentage of them actually buy. A higher conversion rate indicates that higher proportion of stores visitors are being converted to customers. And how do you do that? By merchandising, by ensuring that you are displaying it nicely, by having a comfortable environment, by having sales assistants who help the customer find the right product, and easing the journey of the customer. Once you have walked into the store, you can increase the conversion rate. Let's now look at next business model, franchising business model. In a franchising business model, a company which is a franchisor grants another business which is called the franchisee the right to use its brand and the business model. That's a typical franchise business model. So what are the metrics for a franchisor or the company to track? One is the number of franchisees, the total number of franchise units. More franchisees can lead to increased brand recognition and higher market share. So one is the number of franchisees that you have. Two is sales per franchise. Average sales generated by each franchisee. Higher values indicate more successful franchise unit. That also ensures your franchisee is making more money, will stay loyal to the company, will invest more in your business, and you may even open more franchise stores for you. Third metric is average unit volume, the average sales volume per franchise. Higher is the average unit volume, more successful is the operation, and very strong customer demand is indicated. Royalty fees. The franchisees pay to the company or the franchisor a certain percentage as a royalty fee. Okay, right? Typically it's a percentage. So higher the royalty fee, the better it is for the company, because the primary source of income for the franchisor or the company is the royalty fees that the franchisee pays. Now let's look at razor blade business model. In a razor blade business model, a company sells a durable product at a low cost or may even be at a loss, with the aim of generating ongoing revenue from the sale of consumable parts or products. For example, in case of shaving razors. Shaving razors are priced attractively, but the replacement blades which the customer continues to buy week on week or month on month, the company makes money on that. Or Hewlett-Packard printers, where the printers are sold at attractive cost, but the consumables or the ink cartridges is where the company makes money. So let's look at what are the metrics used in a razor blade business model. One, customer acquisition cost. What is the total cost of acquiring a new customer? Okay, right? A low customer acquisition cost will contribute to higher profitability in the long term. Remember, when you acquire a customer, you are spending money to acquire the customer, which is called customer acquisition cost. But in a razor blade model, the first product that you are selling, the durable product that you are selling first, you are actually making a loss or very little margin. So it's important that the customer acquisition cost is low enough so that you are able to recover the customer acquisition cost over a long period of usage of the consumables. Other one is the lifetime value. What is the total net profit that the company makes from any given customer? This is important because in a razor blade business model, the company is making money over a long period of time as the customer continues to buy the consumables. A higher lifetime value is important. The customer should keep buying for at least few times before the company is able to make any money. Repeat purchase rate. The percentage of customers who come back to purchase the consumable parts or products is an important metric. Higher the repeat purchase rate, higher will be the customer satisfaction, and higher the lifetime value, and more money the company makes. The upsell rate, because in a razor-based business model, the consumer is continuing to buy the consumables from you, you have a long-term relationship. During that relationship, can you upsell to the customer? Can you sell him a higher end version of the razor blade or higher end version of a printer, so that you are able to make more money? The rate at which customers purchase more expensive items, upgrades, add-ons, all of this comes under upsell rate. This can lead to increased revenue and profitability for the company. Now, let us look at the next business model, bundling business model, and what are the metrics there. What is a bundling business model? A company sells a package of products together at a lower price than if they were purchased separately. So, the company sells 2 or 3 items bundled together and gives a very attractive price, which is much lower than if the consumer were to purchase each of the items separately. So, what are the metrics in this case? One is the average transaction value. The average amount a customer spends per transaction is average transaction value. One of the purposes of bundling is to really increase the average transaction value. 2, cross-selling rate. The percentage of customers who purchase additional products related to their primary purchase. A successful bundling strategy often results in higher cross-selling rate. The customer has come in to buy one item, but the company ends up selling 2 or 3 items by cross-selling. Customer satisfaction and retention. Happy customers are more likely to become repeat customers. Tracking customer satisfaction scores like Net Promoter Score is one of the measures of customer satisfaction, and customer retention rate can help measure the effectiveness of bundling strategy. Now, let us look at next business model, the leasing model. What is a leasing model? The company rents a product to a customer for a period of time, after which the product is returned. So, instead of customer buying the product by paying upfront money, he is leasing or renting the product and returns the product later. So, what are the metrics in a leasing model? 1, utilization rate, the proportion of a time that a leasable asset is rented out. Higher rates indicate better utilization and higher revenue potential. Let us understand this a bit more. In a leasing business model, the company is buying expensive capital equipment and it's renting it out to people. If it gets rented out only for a small fraction of time, the company will obviously lose money. On the other hand, if the asset is rented out more frequently, most of the time it's actually being rented out, then the company is earning money when it's rented out, so utilization rate is high. So, it's a very important factor for a leasing company to look at the utilization rate of the assets that it is leasing. Second is the return on asset. So, you have invested in the capital cost of the equipment. How much money are you making? Is the lease rentals or the money being paid by the customer, are you making enough profit compared to the money that you have invested in the asset? So, return on assets is a very important metric. Third is a default rate. You have purchased the equipment as a company and you are leasing it out. For whatever reason, if your customer does not pay you the lease rental or defaults on the rental, then the company is losing money. The percentage of lease contracts where the lessee fails to make the agreed upon payment is the default rate. A low default rate suggests less risk and higher profitability. A high default rate is not good for the company. Another metric is residual value. So, you have purchased the equipment, you have leased it out for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. After that, the asset comes back. Now, when the asset comes back, what is the residual value? Can you sell the asset for a certain price? The estimated value of an asset at the end of the lease period is the residual value. Higher residual value means the company will be more profitable when you sell the asset post the lease period.